Welcome back to BB Kingle Halloween Origins. Today we're looking at people that have come back from the dead. However, they are wrapped up in bandages and have been going around setting curses on people. We are of course looking at mummies. Mummies can be found in any time period and in any location around the world. You can look at Australian Aboriginal, Incan, Africa, ancient Europe. Anywhere you will find a trace of mummies. People used to get mummified to allow them to pass over to the afterlife. It was said that their bodies must be preserved to allow their souls to easily distinguish and identify which body they belonged to once they made it to the afterlife. To become a mummy, your body had to be washed. Your organs had to be removed, however they left your heart in. They'll give you that. They were placed in salt and so was the body to allow all the moisture to be absorbed through the salt. The body was then coated in resins and essential oils, and finally it would be wrapped up in layers of linen. Unlike other Halloween origins I've looked at, mummies had nothing to do with the world of supernatural. The only thing really that you could link them to is the passing of life to death. There was a saying as they had to become a mummy to allow that passage to be easier. So what was the initial link that got mummies associated with Halloween? Well, people say it was because some of them come back as revenants. They've come back to torment the living or to haunt them. So people said that mummies would come back to life and they'd just go around tormenting the living. However, I feel as though there's a different explanation and there's a better link than what I've found. So I'm going to do a bit of a BB Kingle twist on this one. I think a few of you know what I'm going to talk about. As soon as I mentioned 1922, a very famous tomb and a British archaeologist. It is Howard Carter and how he stumbled upon Tutankhamun's tomb and some say releasing the King Tut curse. In some folklores, it says that if you disturb a mummy, you will see death. Straight away. Cut the shit out. Straight into, if you disturb him, you're going to die. So maybe this had something to do with the curse. Maybe because this body is laying at rest and you disturb its eternity of slumber, it has to get one up on you. It has to kind of beat you in some way. So it just kills you. However, you don't go to the afterlife because you're not mummified. So that could be one. So a link to Halloween could be there, a curse. This is exactly what happened to 10 people associated with finding Tutankhamun's tomb and body in 1922. I'm going to go into a bit more detail in another video. As I've been Googling it, I've thought I can't really jam all this in because I'm talking about Halloween origins with mummies. But I'll talk about the King Tut curse in another video, so I'm just going to gloss over a few things about it now. 4 people I'm going to look at. There was 10 that were killed or had some sort of curse set on them, and I'm going to talk about 4 that really stood out to me. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a man called George Herbert. George died 6 weeks after finding the King Tut tomb due to accidentally opening a mosquito bite and dying due to blood poisoning. Horrible, a horrible way to go. It's like a Final Destination death, isn't it? One of those ones that it cringes you out and you're like, oh, brutal. Aubrey Herbert, George's half brother, also died 5 months after his brother did, George. So Aubrey, this is a bit off track, however, he was going blind in later life and he was losing sight rapidly. The doctors told him it was due to his teeth being absolutely rotten. So Aubrey thought it would be a good idea to get them all removed in the hopes that his sight would finally and start to come back. However, Aubrey instead got sepsis due to the dental work and died 5 months after his half-brother, George. George J. Gould, a wealthy American financial expert, came over to King Tut's tomb for a visit. However, he got immediately ill, went home, never fully recovered, and died of pneumonia. And the final one I want to talk about is Hugh Evelyn White, a man who killed himself due to not being able to cope with all the people he worked with now dying or having some catastrophic effect on their life. So Hugh took his own life, leaving behind a note which read, "I have succumbed to a curse which forces me to disappear." Hugh wrote that note in his own blood before taking his own life in 1924. Now this is something you'd imagine would be made up, something like you've seen off a movie. However, this is all real, this is all documented. Obviously there's no link to the King Tut case, this could all just be very coincidental. However, it became worldwide news, and mummies became a very, very widespread topic, along with ancient Egypt and all of its history. So I'm saying that the link from Halloween to mummies, that is the main cause. It had everything you need. It had death and spiritualism. It's a curse. Something set a curse. It's magic, black magic. It's from a mummy. It's set a curse on the living. All the living die. That's Halloween. Basically Halloween. So it's got every walk of life mixed in. It's a very Halloween-y thing. So even though it's a King Tut curse, I guess it's kind of just become mummies in general. However, the majority, I'd say even of all mummies, are not curse-dwelling black magic magicians if you touch them. However, King Tut's curse made that become a huge widespread event, and you can totally see why. 10 victims. One, as well, just for a bit of an extra information, one, his house got burnt down because he was given a paperweight and it was a hand, a mummified hand. Used it as a paperweight. Anyway, his house burnt down. Nightmare. Rebuilt it. Hit with a flood. So this will be the last one. The next one will be the final. What is the origin of Halloween? So please keep an eye out for that. If you did enjoy this video, please check this one out here. Like, subscribe, and follow me on the search for the origins of the most well-known Halloween creatures.